All right, so now I'm going to talk about differentiable functions on manifolds. So, so let's say that we have two manifolds, M1 and M2, right? So let M1 be a sort of D1 dimensional manifold. And similarly, M2 be a D2 dimensional manifold. Then you have a function f from M1 to M2. Okay, and then you have charts. In particular, let's just think of x as being mapped to f of x. Okay. So in order to think about this, you need to have charts that's like which contain x and f of x for M1 and M2 respectively. Okay, so this is let's say phi 1 and phi 2 is mapped to RD1 and RD2, right? And we're interested in, again, this local representative coordinate representation it's like for f, right? So want to consider a coordinate representation of f. Let's call that f hat. Okay, so f hat is a map from RD1 to RD2, and it's obtained again by sort of going around the diagram, right? So f hat is defined to be phi 1 inverse composed with f composed with phi 2. Okay, so then f is differentiable or smooth, right, yeah, at the point x. If f hat, right, is C infinity at phi 1 of x, and as we discussed before, this is independent of the choice of coordinates. Okay. All right. So this is the notion of differentiable or smooth. It's like at a point, right? And as you might expect, if it's smooth, it's like in the entire domain, right? So function f from M1 to M2 is smooth. Right? If it is smooth at every point. In its of its domain. Okay. All right. So now it's like we have this notion of smoothness. It's like of maps between manifolds. So you can talk about what are called diffeomorphisms. So a smooth diffeomorphism f from M1 to M2, right, is a bijection, which is to say that it's one-to-one and onto, such that f and its inverse, f inverse, right, are both smooth. Okay, and in this case, it's like if you have this, then we say that M1 and M2 are diffeomorphic, so two manifolds M1 and M2 are diffeomorphic. If there exists a diffeomorphism on M1 onto M2. Okay, and then for the purposes it's like of this course, for the most part, we're going to assume that all functions are smooth, unless explicitly stated otherwise. Okay, so this gives you, again, the notion of differentiability. And as I said before, it's like this is independent of the choice of coordinates. So it's a well-defined concept that's like in this sort of category of manifolds. And now it's like next thing we'll talk about are immersions and submersions. So let me stop for a second.